Oh, Cannondale, you lost us for a little while there, but we are really paying attention now. We're loving the direction that Cannondale mountain bikes are heading, and the new Jekyll totally exemplifies this. Gone is the faff and overcomplication of previous versions of the Jekyll, and what you're left with here is a distilled, raw enduro beast. The previous Jekyll tried to bridge the gap between trail bike and enduro bike, and with its complicated dual chamber pull shock, it was confusing to set up and service. But with Jeremiah Bubar, that's the man who designed the legendary RockShox Pike, now at the helm of Cannondale suspension design, things are looking very good. We're loving the direction that Cannondale are going here. Less fluff and more fizz. Just about the only similarity between this bike and its predecessor is that you can still adjust to travel on the fly, but in every other regard it's a very different bike. 170mm up front, 165mm out back. Those numbers tell you all about this bike's intentions. And it looks aggressive too. Low to the ground, massive chainstays, a whopping one-piece carbon link and a chunky downtube. We weren't sold on the aesthetics at first. The high and forward shock position does seem a little bit odd, but it's definitely grown on us. And the quality of the paintwork and finish is totally awesome. You have to see this thing in the sunlight to really appreciate it. Hitting the handlebar lever toggles between the bike's flow and hustle modes. Flow gives you 165mm of rear travel, while engaging the hustle mode reduces travel to 130mm. The change is made by reducing the air volume of the rear shock, which has a big impact on the bike's suspension feel too. With the hustle mode on, it sits up higher in its travel, which is great for pedal clearance while climbing and gives it a much more sprightly feel overall too. With the custom offset rear wheel, Cannondale have been able to keep the rear end really short at just 420mm, which is about as short as you're going to find in this category. And this has a big impact on the way that this bike rides, keeping it feeling really lively on the trail for a long travel bike. It loves to pre-jump and pump, and it rewards an engaged riding style. The suspension doesn't do well if it's run on the soft side. With more than 25% sag, we found it too easy to bottom out, and then it rode too low, leading to lots of flip pedals and a feeling of being trapped down in the travel. Setting the bike up a little bit firmer brought it alive. The slightly firmer setting suits the bike's poppy character too. Despite all the travel, if you're looking for a plough, this isn't it. This bike is a hunter, and a quiet one at that too. From a practicality angle, the new Jekyll is a big step forward. Not only can the shock be serviced easily, but a regular shock can be fitted too. From an enduro racing standpoint, it ticks all of the boxes. There's room for a 600ml water bottle, there's some solid down tube protection, it runs a proper chain guide that keeps everything nice and secure, and the 12-speed Eagle drivetrain silences any questions about having enough gear range for the climbs and the descents. Obviously, getting yourself back up the hill is part of the battle in enduro, and we were impressed to find there was little need for the lockout lever. Hitting the bar lever to toggle into the hustle mode gives you really good climbing geometry, and because the shock is still kept fully active, just a little firmer, you don't sacrifice any of that climbing traction in the way that you would with a traditional lockout lever. The new Cannondale Jekyll is simpler, faster, and a lot more fun than its predecessor. Cannondale haven't tried to reinvent the wheel with this bike. Instead, they've gone to the fundamentals of what this discipline should be all about, which is going fast and having fun where it matters. The Jekyll represents the crowning glory and a real resurgence for Cannondale.